Being after 6:30, I'd like to call to order the Monday, September 9th meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission. First hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1047, Nicholas Miller, 115 Birch Street. Proposed project is to replace a house foundation and deck within 100 feet of wetlands.
I read the legal notice. Nicholas Miller, 115 Birch Street, map 12, parcel 14. In accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended. The Norton Conservation Commission will hold a notice of intent hearing for Nicholas Miller of 115 Birch Street, Mass. The proposed project is to replace a house foundation and deck within 100 foot of wetlands. Says there is a check due for the advertisement.
It's only one thing.
Thank you.
Just ask. Thanks. Come right on up in front there, Nick. Thanks. So just say, who you are and just explain what you need to do on your plan.
Foundation on the left third of the house was the original building. The rest was replaced in 2000, but the original foundation cinder block is starting to cave in. As need to trench out along the front of the building, about 25 feet long, 6 foot deep, and about 4 feet wide, so they can get new cinder block in and new block out. And the deck on the back of the property is also falling off the house. It just needs to be removed and replaced exactly the same size and premises.
You're gonna generate any soil? You're not filling everything.
No, everything comes out of the whole story.
So the site looks pretty flat, is that your sense?
It does slope from the street down towards the back.
But fairly.
The front yard is really low.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have any problems with material eroding in the direction of wetlands, I assume.
No. There is
We need sediment control on the plan.
But in the deck construction, that really doesn't require any movement of soil.
Correct.
the footings that I'm going to be using for it, I'm going to have to dig a hole. It's just a 10 by 10 diamond that gets put on top, and then 4 metal rods get through.
So it is resistant to frost even?
Yeah, it's put compliant for everyone.
Dan, do you have anything?
No questions. Do we?
Gene? Well, I gotta go around first.
Oh.
Gene? Dan?
I have a quick question. You might have already said that, but what's being removed on the side of the house? Is that concrete?
Yeah,
Or?
right now there's a concrete landing outside the side door there that's also crumbling. It just needs to be removed.
Okay.
The new wooden structure is going to be put in its place.
Alright.
Ron?
Question of written plans beside this?
For the deck or
Yeah.
deck plans that were submitted to the
When he submits those plans, it'll come through the online permitting process, and then I'll see them at that point too.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments? Yeah, I'll entertain a motion.
This is a notice of intent.
Yep.
What was the file number again?
1047.
1047.
All right, I move that we close the public hearing for file number 250-1047.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to close the public hearing for file 250-1047, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor?
All right.
So moved.
So it would be a boilerplate set of conditions. You just need to decide two things. You need as-built plans for the work that's being proposed, and the previous owner had two projects there where the visual barrier markers were not installed. Do you want those installed?
What is the extent of the lawn now?
It's pretty much right up to the wetland boundary, so you required the markers on previous projects. They just didn't do one of the projects, so the markers didn't go in.
So it would be markers on stakes,
On post.
on posts. Well, that doesn't seem too difficult.
No. No, that's the conditions of it.
Yep. And then what about the as-built plans?
Is that something that can be verified by compliance inspector?
We can have the as-built on the deck's done, all right, the final.
It's the same location and the same
Okay, so
size.
That's fine.
It would be the same, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that then.
If that's.
Photographs? Just get photographs.
At the certificate of compliance.
Yep.
Front or done.
All right, well, I would move that form of draft or the conditions be approved.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to approve the order of conditions for file 250-1047 as discussed, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Okay, our next hearing is a request for determination of applicability for file DET 1088, Norton Village Condominium Association, 5 Robin Circle. Proposed project involves plans to replace the existing septic system within 100 feet of wetlands.
In accordance with Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 134 to 131, Section 40, as amended, the Norton Conservation Commission will hold a request for determination of applicability hearing for Norton Village Condominium Association, 5 Robin Circle, Norton, Mass. For the proposed project involves plans to replace the existing septic system within 100 foot of wetlands. And it doesn't seem to be a bill.
Looks like we have payment of the
Yeah,
legal
we already
notice
came
bill.
in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just-
Just introduce yourself, please. Just introduce yourself.
My name is Abhishek Gulati from Riverwalk Environmental.
A little louder, and if you could spell that, please.
My name is spelled Abishek, first name, and last name is Pramanik, Pramanik. You guys can call me Avi if you like.
Thanks.
I'm representing Riverwalk Environmental, and we're doing some work within the 100-foot buffer of the wetlands. The septic system itself is outside of the buffer area. We're replacing most of the components that we are actually pulling out and replacing is already within the existing and the proposed locations themselves. So we're not changing much to what's already there. And erosion control has been provided for where necessary. We've also provided catch basin inlet protection as well within the 100 foot of the work area and the 2 catch basins at the entrance of the property. Or sorry, entrance of this particular parcel. Covers it.
So there were no issues with the wetland boundary. We just noticed, or I noticed that there were some Christmas trees and a little bit of compost dumped into the wetland, but the management company's been notified and they were supposed to have it removed already.
Yeah, we notified the organization in charge of the area
Okay.
of the apartments.
Okay. Is there anything else, Jen?
Nope.
Dan? Jean? Dan? Ron? Julie? Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay, then, just need a motion to close. Julie makes a motion to close the public hearing for file DET 1088, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
I
Kiddush.
move the determination be negative, for determination 1088, assuming it's built according to plan.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to issue a -3 determination of applicability, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Do you want to wait till goes around, or?
Yes.
I want you to get overwhelmed.
Not overwhelming, I just want all my papers back before you leave, otherwise you have to come back and sign them all over again.
Yes. So they gonna present the next one, or we're just gonna ratify them?
I don't know that they're here, but
So it's all-
they can't,
announce it as a
they
new-
can't present it, we're just gonna ratify the,
Okay, our next hearing is a request for determination of applicability for file DET 1087, CIL Realty of Mass Incorporated, 183 John Scout Boulevard. Proposed project involves plans to repair an existing septic system within 100 feet of wetlands.
unfortunately, we had a mix-up with the legal notice, and so it was not advertised. We cannot have that hearing tonight, but the project is an emergency is in an emergency situation where the septic system is in failure. So last week I issued the emergency certificate so that they could begin work ahead of obtaining their wetland permit. I met with the contractor this morning, went over all the sediment control. They understand they still need to go forward with the wetland permitting process, and they will be at the next meeting to go over it. So we just need to ratify the emergency certificate form.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Julian?
I move that we ratify the emergency permit.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to ratify the emergency certificate, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
They're coming back on 9/23?
9:22.
Our next hearing is a request for an amendment to existing order of conditions, file 250-996, Thomas Powers, 19 King Philip Road. Proposed project is to raise the existing house above the floodplain elevation within 100 feet of wetlands and within the 100-year floodplain.
Like, could we wait 15 minutes? My engineer's on his way. He just called me. He said, be here in about 10 minutes. Is that possible?
Do you want to just do that one?
Yeah, we can.
Yep,
That's fine, thank you.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, next hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1046, Joseph Fernandez, 461 South Worcester Street. Continued from the August 12th meeting. Proposed project is to construct a dwelling, septic, driveway, grading, and utilities within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetland.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Just a color up one.
Yeah, just that certificate. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks.
For the record, Michael Sherwood, Judge and Sherwood Associates. I represent Mr. Fernandez. At the last meeting, there's a couple of items that were to be addressed. One of them was actually to hear from Natural Heritage, which we did get a response from Natural Heritage and the approval. That letter has been sent directly to the Conservation Commission. There was some extension of the visual barrier that Jennifer had requested that has been added to the plan. Placing the limits of the cul-de-sac on the plan, as well as a couple distances to the potential vernal pool and the limit of work. Everything else is essentially stayed the same. There was a slight amendment with the stockpile area. Jennifer requested that we put a second row 10 feet back from the initial area, and we did put dry wells in.
Yes, and the distances from the vernal pool to the proposed work, that includes the septic system and the dry wells, just to make sure it's in compliance with stormwater management and Title V. You added them.
What's that?
You added them.
Oh, okay. I thought you were looking
No, you're good.
for more. I thought I put all the ones we talked about.
You did.
All right, thank
So
you.
all the changes have been made then, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any other questions, Dan?
Well, there was the question of the retaining walls. Where on
There's
the,
no retaining walls there.
We skipped to number E, letter E. I don't know if you-
Yeah, we're on South Winchester Street.
Yeah.
we're on, right, number E. Are there not, questions about the
Oh, hold on.
retaining walls? that need to
Change the
be-
plans.
That's on the existing, the driveway. This house is on the cul-de-sac to the common driveway. The other house has the question about the retaining walls, but they're working on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Separate lots.
That'll be a
separate
different-
conditions.
It's a different project. Yep, but related because it's the driveway to get there, but,
Okay.
yep.
No
Thanks,
other
Dan.
questions?
Jean? Dan Doyle? Anything?
No.
Ron? No. Julian? Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yeah, examination closed.
Right. I move we close the public hearing for file number 250-1046.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to close the public hearing for file 250-1046, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor? So moved. And go to pool again. Yeah, we get it.
Yep, so see, you have a copy of the letter from Natural Heritage, and you have the draft order of conditions.
Nothing will circle, so I assume that's pretty standard, right?
I think it was pretty standard, yeah, and otherwise I forgot to circle musings.
I'll assume it's standard then. Do anything like to add? So, the order then.
Make a motion to approve the order of conditions as drafted.
Second.
Ron makes a motion to approve the order of conditions for file 250-1046 as drafted, seconded by Julian. All those in favor? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, have a good night.
Thanks.
Wait till it comes back around here and
Yeah,
figure out what we're gonna do next.
I really just want to detour the health thing. He came up and he always says,
Oh.
I think our meeting's gonna be faster than yours, so you lock up. I'm like, all right, fine.
They get the
Which we do
charter
anyway.
meeting tonight. It's not gonna be short.
Oh, they have a charter
They're gonna
meeting.
get hours. They're gonna get up before 10. That's serious. Not that good.
Are you going for that?
I'm not going until October sometime. Only off nights we have.
So not happening tonight.
Compound that Joe Fernandez has is gonna get confusing.
What's that?
The compound that Joe Fernandez has is gonna get confusing when we have the next generation. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, we're all set.
Okay, our next hearing is a request for an amendment to existing order of conditions for file 250-996, Thomas Powers, 19 King Philip Road. Proposed project is to raise the existing house above the floodplain elevation within 100 feet of wetlands and within the 100-year floodplain.
In accordance with Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, is amended, the Norton Conservation Commission will hold an amendment to existing order of conditions hearing for Thomas Powers of 19 King Philip Road, Mass. The proposed project is to raise the existing house above the floodplain elevation within 100 foot of wetland and within the 100-year floodplain. We also have a bill for the publication of the ad for $101.
I'm Rob Marini, a native tech, 31 Monroe Street, Lynn, Mass. I'm here with Mr. Powers. The original, 19 Philip, the original accepted order of conditions was
house on the property. And Mr. Powers, the reason why we're amending this order of conditions, Mr. Powers wants to rehab the existing house. But it's in the floodplain. So we came up with a scheme where, I'll show you the flip side. And this illustrates where the floodplain is. Our locus is here on the Honeycomb Pond. And it's basically a few feet within the floodplain. So, go back with it. We came up with a scheme where we used lifts, jacks to jack it up in both directions. And I needed to show you this because we needed to size the steel. We needed to come up with a method, and we needed to show the extent of disturbance. But one of the advantages of this, raising it, creates more storage. In other words, the foundation is not occupying flood storage. It's increasing the storage volume by raising it above, and they're on these concrete piers. Now, when it's jacked up all together in unison. It's like a hydraulic jack. These steel beams are in this direction, in this direction, and it's raising beam, and just raise up all together at one time. Now, there's called out in the notes reinforcing the frame. The frame of the house, so when they're jacking it up, it's more structurally sound. It is now. So that's a building department question, but I thought we might be interested if you could buy the site. So now that it's raised, we need access to the doors, and it also provides a way to elevate pedestrian access and around all sides of it. So there's a ramp here to a sort of a deck area here, and it ramps again to the back of the house and around. Now, there's a shed that'll be raised. So the first floor will all be at the level of the deck. There's enhancement plantings in the protected species area. We've also added plantings of indigenous wildflower mix and holly, and basically to enhance the natural features of the site. The ground is a little spongy, so this enables all the pedestrian access all around the house, all around the property, and the driveway remains the same. We've showed sedimentation control barrier all around the periphery of the site with both the disturbances of the raising of the house. So that's the general gist of the project. When we're asked to prepare a section, this is a section of showing the concrete piers and how they, once it's jacked up, how the floor will be. That's existing, the way the cinder blocks, and proposed somewhat higher. So the section through the house, the deck raising to this level, raising again to get to the back door. Trees will be pruned so that they survive this sort of activity. And there's some of the trees, existing trees on the site are failing, so we're going to, Mr. Powers is willing to engage an arborist to, as part of the order of conditions, hopefully, to
Take a lot of the dead limbs off.
yeah. So a lot of them are red maple, facultative indigenous species. So I'm just curious if there are any questions.
I just wanted to ask, did you guys provide notification to the butters yet? 'Cause we can't close without that anyway, so I haven't seen the cards or anything yet for the butters.
And we didn't, I don't know if we notified our butters, it was, and were we supposed to?
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, they're gonna probably wanna see you do the same presentation again.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because,
that's the whole purpose of having it, so that.
Yeah, right. 'Cause, we did not, we just submitted to the commission as an amendment to the existing order. I didn't, I was trying to juggle the procedure, and I didn't know to what extent, we had to apply.
Yeah, you have to provide notification to your butters. And I would recommend also, if you could do the application form again, just as a separate document, not scribbling out stuff and putting other information in, just fill it in as a brand new
It's a
document.
brand new,
Yeah.
we did that.
Just makes it easy to read. And for section 6 of that document, the house is being raised, elevated, not raised as in destroyed.
Yeah, it's elevated. Yeah, that's the word elevated.
And when you have a moment, I have a question. Sure. What's the amount that's being elevated?
2 feet.
2 feet. And the existing foundation, will it stay as it is, or as it?
It'll be removed.
It'll be,
Yeah.
and then what remains are these series of the 12, 14 piers, is it? Yeah.
Sorry?
It looks like what remains is the 14.
It'd be a stone surface.
But, and 14 piers.
Yes.
That could be habitat.
Yeah.
Well, they're filling it with stone, so it won't be
Oh.
habitat.
Yeah, it's a stone
The whole,
surface,
the
yeah.
whole 2 feet is filled with stone?
No, just the surface, just the
Okay,
just
so,
about 4-inch layer.
all right, but it's still, I mean, this is actually not a conservation issue, but I assume that you're gonna have to seal the bottom of the
Yeah, I was gonna
house
ask the same question.
in some manner so that it doesn't become,
Wet?
well, it's not, it, also, you're gonna have to insulate it, so there's a lot of cold that come up through the floor because it's out.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah, we'll
insulation
take
of the
care of
floor.
that, yeah.
But, you can be, you can kind of expect that there will be potential bees nests and things like that. And maybe even some birds will nest there.
Yeah.
But that's not a major problem.
The proponent, Compost is willing to monitor the restoration plantings and as a baseline, test the water quality. Notice there's some dead perch in the pond. And so as a baseline in sequence, when we are monitoring the growth of the restoration plantings, we'll also test water quality and provide a report at the same time. It protects both the town and the proponent, that he knows what the level of parameters such as fecal coliform and any herbicide that was used is present.
Did you give them the edits already?
Go through the list.
Is that,
Go through the list.
well, but that has to do with the legs one.
Correct,
So,
yeah.
I don't know,
Yep.
thinking that we,
Okay. Continue
So-
for the abutter
yeah, just
notification.
gonna have to continue, and then we'll notify the abutters, and then we'll pretty much have to make this presentation again. But while I get you here now, do you have the edits to the application? Do you see the edits that she made to the application?
No.
Those should be made. I'll obviously do it again, but the changes that are here, need to be made. And then we have a bunch of stuff we have to go through.
that'd be great.
My copy. Let's see. want to come back for the next meeting, or do you need a couple more?
No, it could be the next meeting. I was unclear how, going back and forth, how to submit this and.
Yeah, we met 2 or 3 times on that, but
Yeah.
you'll need to get the abutter list from the assessor's office and then send it out, so the
Yeah.
abutters have at least a week before the meeting.
Yeah. When's the next meeting? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
23rd?
Yeah, I never, first I heard of
Not sure that's accurate.
All right, so yeah, if you want to go through this, do another one, but make the changes that are there.
Okay.
For starters, and have the butters cards next time when you come in.
the butters cards.
Yep, they'll have lots of questions, and just go through and make sure everything's done to the regs.
Well,
Okay.
you'll need to do the white slips with the postmark on it and send them to the office.
White slips, not the green card certified mail, but the white slip.
The green card is what they sign after,
Okay.
so
Show that
you
they got
need
it.
both, but
Right, you'll submit the green cards to us.
Okay. Well, we don't send to DEP, I mean, we just notify the abutters, right?
yes, you send to E DEP.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a while. This application, okay, sure.
So, 9:29, 23?
Yeah, that's fine.
If you have any questions, Jennifer can assist.
I'm sorry.
Jennifer can assist if you have any questions, to be sure you've got everything all set.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good, thanks.
So I just need a motion. Continue.
I think Dan
All right,
I'll
Dan.
make a motion to continue file number 250-996 to was it the 23rd? To September 23rd.
Second by Dan Pearson makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-996 to the September 23rd meeting, seconded by Ron. All those in favor? Aye. So moved. And if you need anything that you want to submit and have reviewed, probably, you need to get it in
I
a
don't
week
think
before
so,
the
but
meeting.
Yeah.
that's the
Like,
date you
want to
asked.
look over something, or if you want to submit
So
something
it
that's
gives us a
gonna be.
week
So it
to
gives us a
Legal
week to
notice.
review as well.
notify the abutters.
Yeah, you should have that done before you come back. You come in with green cards that you hand in the last,
Oh,
at the beginning of the meeting. But if you have anything you want to do as far as changing the application or anything, you want to have it reviewed, you can't just give it to her the day before and expect it to be ready for that meeting. You should do it a week before.
Week before, okay.
Right. Anything
And
else?
if you don't have everything together, acknowledge we continue until everything's in order.
We'll probably have to make the next meeting, get the abutters list out.
We can make the next meeting to the 23rd.
Think so?
Yeah, but they have to be notified, 10 days in advance. Today's.
The next meeting is 14 days away, so if you need to notify them within 10 days, you need to do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
So why don't we, not the 23rd, but we'll do the meeting after that?
That would be October 7th, we're doing that meeting?
Yeah, that sounds more realistic.
All right, October 7th it is.
All right, I move, the meeting be continued to October 7th.
Second by Ron. Okay, Julian makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-996 to October 7th, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, our next hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1035, Condine Capital Partners, Leonard Street Reconstruction, Route 123 to west of house number 54. Continued from the August 12th meeting for proposed plans to widen Leonard Street, install utilities, replace culverts, and stormwater management. Project involves the alteration of 4,607 square feet of wetland, 12,918 square feet of 100-year floodplain, and 2,600 square feet of riverfront area within the Canoe River area of critical environmental concern. It's a mouthful.
Good evening, Mark Davis, Condine Engineering Group. We have Don O'Neill, Jeff O'Neill from Condine, as well as Scott Smyers from Oxbow. Since the last hearing we had, first thing we did was we met with town departments, including the water department, to discuss, try to get additional information from the water department as requested. They summarized their discussions in an email that I forwarded last week, as well as forwarded out to Morrison and Whitten. We also performed long profiles for the site, for the project. What that is we had our surveyor measure the fallway, which is the lowest point of the stream bed, for a long distance upstream and downstream of the culverts. So for each of the 3 culverts, we went approximately 250, 300 feet upstream, downstream. We documented that in these long profiles. And what that was to ensure that the inverts of these replacement culverts were at the right elevation. We don't want a stream coming in and jump up into a culvert. So it was requested information from Morrison and Whitten, and also it was referred to in the stream crossing standards as a suitable information to help assist in designing the inverts. So we have provided that information, as well as made very minor, literally a 10th here and 10th there adjustment to the inverts. Morrison and Whitten has reviewed those. They reviewed them last week. What we also did was we did a kind of a draft submittal last week to Morrison and Whitten. They reviewed some of the documentation. And we followed that up with a conference call on Friday. Basically, at that conference call, with the whole project regarding the culverts, we pretty much answered all the concerns regarding everything else. Regarding the culverts, there's 3 main criteria for when we cannot meet the standards. One is criteria 1 has to do with erosion, and criteria 2 has to do with flooding. Based on all the data we have, the fact that the long profiles were confirmed that there's less than over 600 feet, there's less than a 1 foot, 3 foot ball fields wide, there's less than 1 foot change in grade. Even the perennial stream is 4/10 change in grade over those long profiles. So what we've determined is that the first 2 criteria are unaffected by whatever size culverts. So the first 2 criteria, flooding and erosion, are not a reason for not meeting the standards. So we've provided all the documentation possible for that, as well as we did provide 100-year storm calculations for these watersheds, which during a 100-year storm, that flow will make it through the small round pipes that are there. It may be constricted, and the calculations show that if you replace it with either the ellipticals that are proposed or an 8-foot wide box culvert, determine that there's potentially no risk of flooding. So that was as a criteria for not meeting the standards. Those 2 criteria are no longer included in the determination. The last is site constraints. So based on discussions and feedback with the water department, Frank from the water department is here, the superintendent, to ask any questions. We've determined that for the 2 intermittent streams, that single elliptical culvert is the best proposal based on their concerns. One concern being creating a drop in the water line, increases sedimentation. Another concern is a large box culvert creates a cover issue over that water line. If you have an open air box culvert, basically what we would have proposed is literally down to 6 inches of cover. We had set these culverts only about less than 12 inches from the pipe, so that creates a wide open air situation that could cause freezing in those pipes, as well as the width of these pipes. They need to be able to maintain their own pipes. So those main criteria
among other reasons, just the overall status of the Norton water system. We've maintained to propose the elliptical culverts for the two 12-inch intermittent streams, and we've actually revised our proposal on the perennial stream to the same style culvert. As you recall, last time we were here, we did have a 6-foot wide box culvert. We actually reduced our proposal for that culvert down to the same elliptical culvert. And it's 100% due to site constraints. We've also provided a spreadsheet if on the cost, a item of discussion, Horst and Witten brought up, well, why don't we raise the road up? We've created a cost analysis that if we were to put those box culverts appropriate size to the standards, we'd no longer be able to, we'd have to relocate the water line as well, and so the culvert and the water line to achieve cover is raising that entire piece of Leonard Street about 7 feet, retaining walls, guardrails. I think you see what we submitted was almost a $1.5 million estimate. So we've maintained our proposal as well as changing the third Perennial Street culvert to an elliptical pipe. And as of the conference call on Friday morning, Horsley and Witten agreed that the engineering backup calculations confirm this are not really applicable at this point, although we've provided every answer we possibly can. It's the town departments working together to decide that what we've proposed is the maximum extent feasible for these culverts. And we've been working with the various departments, Scott Smyers from Oxbow, Brad Holmes, as well as I've conferred with other civil engineers, as well as my licensed opinion. We meet the maximum extent possible for these culverts. If you like to have Frank from the water department provide his input, one thing we did add to the plans was that any installation or modification to the water line in that particular area for, even though we are providing that cover, it's still an open pipe within about 12 inches of that water line. They'd like us to provide some installation. Any of that type work will be worked out on site. He's still conversing with his engineers on exactly what that would entail, but it would all happen within the same footprint we're working on. We provide the adequate installation necessary. So, although we have not, we were expecting a kind of a summary letter from Rosenwood today that stated two things. That is the town's decision, conservation, water department, town manager, highways department, to allow this proposal. It meets standards, and the town can decide that collectively, and that no more information is going to be specific engineering related calculations that were alluded to. Once we provided the long profiles, they were satisfied, reviewed those elevations. So even though I feel we don't have that, I thought it was going to be a 2-page, and I requested that we work together all last week on that, getting that review prior to tonight. We'd still like to entertain any last questions. We have Frank, Scott, even Mike, and Keith all here to answer any questions regarding the town, other aspects of town departments. We do have a stamped set of plans, two copies, ready to go for this. Questions from the commission at this point?
Yeah, I have a few questions for Frank. Do you mind coming up? Just introduce yourself for the record. Okay, so last time we had the meeting and we discussed issues, and it was stated adamantly by Condyne that it was the water superintendent's opinion that we couldn't build the appropriately sized conduit because of it was too close to the pipes that were there, we couldn't lower the pipes. Can you just explain the rationale behind that?
Lowering the water main creates basin acidification.
Just a little louder. Can't hear you.
Lowering of the water main will create a settling basin or sedimentation. Everybody knows we have high levels of iron manganese in the system, which is very difficult to clean out. Even during our flushing program, we use a high velocity of water from fire hydrants to remove this. Any valleys or low spots, whether it be intentional or unintentional, create water quality issues. And can get to the point, depending on the structure that's in the ground, of having potential blockage in the system with the amount of iron manganese that we have that were pumped in the system for 80 to 90 years now. Although the treatment plant will be going online shortly, should be this fall, what's existing in the system doesn't change. Anytime you create a low spot, the debris, whether it be iron, manganese, construction debris, is going to find that low spot and it becomes very difficult. So the separation is the second concern. Anytime you have an open air box culvert, similar to a bridge, that area is actually going to be subject to freezing conditions. Where the water main in its current elevation here is at 5 feet, which is the minimum cover that we recommend, so we don't have a frost or freeze situation on the pipe. Anything we put on top of this takes away obviously from that 5 foot cover. So it makes a second concern where you want to make sure that that pipe is insulated. That requires more work in vegetative wetlands to expose the existing pipe, put insulation on it. Not only the depth issue, but also the distance issue from that culvert. You also have to make sure you've got your 5 or 6 foot cover horizontally, not just vertically.
Okay, that's all you got. Any other questions, Stan, for either gentleman? Gene, Dan, Ron, Julian? Anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, sir.
Michael Newman's town manager. I just want to thank everyone for all the work and time that you put in on this. I know it's been a while, and hopefully we have everything that you need right now so that we can move forward and get this project out. So thank you for all the time you spent on it.
So like Mark said, I expect Horsley Witten's review to come, we thought it would be today, but it should be this week. You guys would also send me notes on your conference call? Is somebody going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could send those, well, that item for the record, we'll wait for Horsley Witten's review, but I expect that to be this week. So that's up to the commission if you want to close this evening.
Discuss? Ron?
We should wait till we get the Horsley Witten letter.
Dan?
I agree with Ron.
Gene?
Same.
You agree with Ron and Dan?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah, I think we should wait till we get our final review.
Okay, so if we're, see, I wasn't on the conference call, but if you continue to the next meeting, then we should be able to have the draft permit ready for that evening as well. So there's no time lost if you continue to the next meeting.
I'm not lying, they said engineering calculations are not really applicable anymore. It's up to you guys. You don't need their input anymore. I don't know how else to express that. You know, by an approval tonight, we can move aspects of the project forward.
You lose no time, because if it waits 2 weeks and then they give us the information like you said they would, then we'll sign it, approve it, and it'll be the same day. Even if we close today, we still can't sign it until the next meeting.
We have clients and people frustrated by our open-ended answers. Routinely, it's been 6 months, we went through the whole other procedure. I don't know, Jeff, I don't want to say anything, but I think they've said enough, and maybe they can agree to that. I'm not gonna waste another Monday night. At the end of the conference call, it was pretty specific that it was a very minute piece of information that we were expecting to get today. We did not receive it. got notified after 5 PM tonight that that information was not forthcoming.
Well, I would just make it clear that I agree that the details have been rather clearly presented, and I 100% feel comfortable with the proposed plan.
I do as well, for the record.
And I would agree, I'm not sure what we are hesitating about here, because this is something we have probably looked at the details more than practically any other project ever. And I still am uncertain as to the discomfort.
Well, if it doesn't make a difference.
Well,
as-
they're saying
as
in
far as
reality it
time.
does make a difference, so I think we need to be more decisive. I mean, what is their response going to say that would make you not support this?
Jen, do you have any thoughts on this?
You know, we typically look for information to be within the office a week before the hearing so that we can go over it. The documentation from Condyne came in on Friday.
That was after a week of back and forth directly with in order to.
Might be with Horsley and Witten, but I don't have that information until Friday. There was a conference call on Friday when I was not in. I don't have notes from that conference call so that we were kept in the loop. I mean, I expect Horsley Witten's letter to come, today or tomorrow. It's not today, but tomorrow. But you hired them to do that review for you. You're trusting their professional judgment. I mean, I have no reason to.
We hired them to
Yeah.
do 2 other reviews of 2 other projects, which they gave us a clean bill of health on, and still had a negative result from the commission. I mean, we're stuck in a loop here. It's not ending. I'm missing personal things in my life. We have a consultant, we have 3 other town employees out here.
We need to get this closed. Our initial filing was January of this year, and we're all the way into the middle of September. All this time period that's gone by. We spent another $15,000 to $20,000 to go out and produce these plans and these details to meet everything that Horsley and Witten wanted.
But they didn't
For
meet
the whole
it. They've
project.
been modifying it back and forth the whole time. They finally came up, according to you guys, they finally came up with a final version.
But Scott, since the initial filing, we're all the way back to the same set of plans that we submitted back in January. There's no change. 3 ellipticals.
Regarding the culverts, it's
3
almost
ellipticals.
exact.
That's what we're back to, just about 100%. So I just don't understand.
So it was
when the
Friday that you provided the documentation that proved that's what's applicable. That could have been submitted in the beginning with the initial application as well. The comments from Horsley and Witten had gone pretty consistently about the same issue over and over. So if it's taken so many months to get to that point with the backup documentation that's been requested the entire time, then yes, that's where we are. Everyone is frustrated all around, and you're still waiting for that
Jennifer,
final
we've all
approval.
evolved and followed the process the engineering went through. Everyone learned. You learned, we learned, everyone else came through this. There's no doubt. We've all done that. But we filed since January. It's about time we all make a decision as a board and as a team to move this project forward to town of Norton. Meanwhile, sitting downstairs is $500,000 of building permits that we can't pick up yet because we can't close. $500,000 that's waiting for the town.
If
But
we
can't
close
pick them
now
up.
and don't sign, you still can't pick them up, right? It has to be a signed
But we're
order.
trying to close on the property, get everyone moving along, and get the shovel in the ground, have our pre-construction meeting, get everything going. So if you delay another 2 weeks, then you have to sit there and wait, and then you have an appeal period, and you have to wait for the appeals to expire, which is another time period after that. And we've already been down the path once that says, hey, we'll draft the order of conditions, you come to the next meeting, and we'll see what's there. We never saw the order of conditions, we want to know what's going on.
Mr. Chairman?
This is the case.
I am going to propose that we be practical about this. I mean, if closing is helpful, I would be in favor of closing. And we have, before we actually sign, all the information that some of us want to see which I'm not uncomfortable about because I've seen all the details. And then the next meeting, we will sign. And I think it's highly, I mean, is anyone here thinking that there will be sudden new information that would change?
If there was, we wouldn't approve at that point.
Yeah, so we can
it's-
close
it's
tonight
as
and
discussed.
still
and-
have,
yeah.
and still have the final
Do you guys agree with that?
decision
If it's
next
consistent with what they're
meeting.
telling us now, then we can approve. If it's not, then we have to not approve it, but.
That makes sense.
All right, so with that,
So I need another vote then.
I
Switch
will
mine.
move that we close the hearing for file number 250-1035.
Second? anyone?
Second.
Julian makes the motion to close the public hearing for file 250-1035, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor? So moves.
Okay.
So, we'll assume that you guys are right and it's consistent with what you guys are telling us, because we have no way of
So we're waiting
knowing.
on the Horsley and Whitney final
Correct.
comment.
That they can confirm what you're saying
We're
that's
also
now.
gonna wait on a draft of the drafted order of conditions for next meeting.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And we'll see that prior to the meeting.
You don't typically see that prior to the meeting. It's up to
You
the
guys
commission.
usually get it after we sign, right?
All permits are issued
I mean,
after you sign it.
so it's fine by me if you want to do that. I mean, I want to help.
Conference call notes?
We'll see. So I'm here, correct, did you say we were gonna see the draft? Is that right?
I didn't, it's up to the commission, not me.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
You guys gotta share the notes from the conference call, right? Okay. Right. That's it. Thank you, guys. Right.
Remember, the culvert got small, there was more bleed, so let's go away.
Do you really need to give us a dig now?
Huh?
Do you really need to give us a dig now as you walk out the door? All right. Have a good night. All right, the next hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1037, Next Squid Redwood LLC, 54 Plain Street, continued from the July 22nd meeting, and they're requesting a continuance to September 23rd.
Second.
Okay, Julian makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1037 to the September 23rd meeting, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor? So moved. Next hearing is abbreviated notice of intent, a resource area delineation for file 250-1030, East Hodges Street, and they've also requested a continuance to the September 23rd meeting.
I also
Julian makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1030 to the September 23rd meeting, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The next hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1032, Oak Street, and they request a continuance to the September 23rd meeting.
So moved.
Julian makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1032 to the September 23rd meeting, seconded by Ron. All those in favor? So moved. Okay. The COC?
Yep.
Next, we have a request for a full certificate of compliance for file 250-989, Mike Haskell, 121 West Hodges Street, for proposed plans to construct a 1,300 square foot common driveway for 2 houses within 100 feet of wetlands and rare species habitat.
All right, this appears to be in compliance, and I move that we issue a certificate of compliance, a full certificate of compliance for file number 250-989.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to issue a full COC for file 250-989, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, draft minutes, August 12th.
So the only comment I have is the date was not actually on the electronic version.
What do you mean? Oh, really?
Yeah, it actually had today's date on it.
Remember that?
Well, I guess it's been altered since the electronic version I was had Monday, September.
No, really?
Yeah, so it must have been modified since
Yeah.
it was sent out.
It's fine now.
Yeah, and the date down here is also wrong.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Maybe it was fixed then.
So it's been fixed.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the version I saw. But it's,
Did I send you the wrong version? Did I
Is that
email you the
actual
wrong
minutes?
version?
well,
Is that the right minutes though?
and at the bottom,
Is it the same stuff on it?
No, you should have 812. I sent you the wrong one.
Yeah, these are the wrong minutes. That's true.
Right? You all have, did you all have the wrong ones?
Monday, September 2019.
See,
There's
it's the
no date
wrong
on.
hearings. So
Well,
that's
I
a different set
think
of minutes.
All right, it'll
I think
be
they're just not complete.
continued to the
Yeah,
next
do
meeting.
it next time.
Next meeting.
Well, whatever.
All right, you call.
Okay, sorry.
Next time.
Sent you the wrong ones.
All right, old business.
Signature. Thanks. Let me put this away first.
Sure. Take your time. Take time now.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Where are we? Old business? All right, so the appeal of the Cranberry Bog project with solar is DEP 2501036. That site walk was scheduled for tomorrow, but it's rescheduled to the 18th at 10:45. Our peer review consultant will be there with us. I asked town council, but I will send a follow-up, just so.
That's Bay Road, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So if anyone is interested in being there, Wednesday, September 18th, 10:45 a.m. That's for commission members. We cannot authorize abutters or anybody else to be on the property at that time.
Do we know who from the DEP is going to be there?
Gary McCutch.
Do you like him?
You asking me that on camera?
Never mind.
DEP 25983, the Island Brook appeal. We do have new plans and documents that were submitted last week. They've all been copied and sent to John Chesia to review for us as well. And I'll just send an email to DEP so they know we're reviewing and we'll send comments.
Well, just a comment.
Yep.
I have a conflict on the 18th, so I won't be able to go to that sidewalk.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
All right, next is the buffer zone guidance guidebook that you all got.
Yep.
Do you want to take time to review it? Do you want to go a section at a time and do some Thursday nights, little,
I think that'd be a good idea.
class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
just a Thursday. We'll
Yeah.
figure out a date, but I just want to know, how do you want to digest all of that information? Do you want some sort of
How much is?
discussion or presentation? It's sort of broken up into, it's by the interests of the act, so there's 9 interests, and it's kind of broken up into the ones that are really similar. So
So we should break up into more than one session.
we break it up into a couple different sessions, yeah.
So maybe like one a month or something.
Sure.
Okay. That's fine.
Yep, we can do that. So, new business. Tomorrow I have to go to the planning board for proposed revisions to the stormwater bylaw for fall town meeting. And right now, the stormwater bylaw it's really confusing for people, because if it has a wetland permit, then we administer it. If it doesn't need a wetland permit, then planning board administers it, or zoning board administers it. It's just too confusing for residents, and the 3 boards aren't administering that the same or some at all. So we're going to town meeting to change that, so it just comes through my office, just so everybody knows. And we don't have any site inspections. Violations, 68 Dean never came back and filed their permit application, and now they have new soil dumped on the property, so They were given 2 letters, they contacted us twice, I sent the permit application, it was never filled out and returned, and that was for all the tree cutting next to the wetland and the vernal pool. And now there's new soil on the property, so what do you want me to do? Another letter or an enforcement order this time and appear before the board?
I think at this point, it's not even a personal order.
This is the last 2 letters, right?
Yeah, so we'll just send that over. So that's good with everybody?
Any motion for that, or? You don't say just-
No, that's okay, that's okay.
All right.
I don't even remember what those other ones are. So we're in open session, topics that we couldn't get on the agenda. There's a special town meeting called for the fall town meeting, and those are both October 21st, so I don't know if anybody has anything you want me to add to the fall town meeting. We did submit, for the special, just for the regular fall town meeting, we submitted budget requests to have the secretary be full-time.
Yep.
With all of the discussion about camping and needing a caretaker at Edith Reed, I submitted a seasonal part-time employment for somebody to help out with the Girl Scout camp.
Can we talk about the possibility, and maybe not in the fall town meeting, but maybe the spring, of the possibility of getting an alternate? Commissioner, it seems like one of us is always out every meeting. Is that an option?
We haven't discussed
Well, that's what I'm saying.
that
Can we
at
open the
all.
discussion about that? Do you guys think that's a good idea? I think it's a waste of time?
I'm almost never out.
I know, I'm usually out every 3rd or 4th meeting though. Lisa's out a decent amount of time. And even when I'm here, with Mass DOT's here, I can't be in here, or if it's a water thing, I can't be here. So, I mean, if you guys don't think it's a good idea, then we can skip it, but I think
The
it...
difficulty is, do we have someone who would be interested?
Well, I don't know.
in
I know one
serving?
person that is interested, but I don't know if that's something that we should advertise, or
But they wouldn't be a voting member.
only if there's one less than 7 people here, I
But
think,
then they
right?
would have to attend the meeting in order to be able to.
Right, exactly. They would attend every meeting, and then when there was not enough people here, then they would vote.
Does the law actually provide for that?
Some towns
It's
have that.
decided
I don't
town
really
meeting, I
know
believe.
how that works, but
Okay.
so if you want, for the next meeting, I can look in the MACC handbook and see what they say about it and give you copies of it, and then you can figure out if that
If it's
makes
even
sense or...
worthwhile, right.
Okay.
I just threw it out there. I know someone asked me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So each town decides how many members are going to be on the board.
Yeah.
I think that goes through the selectmen. They usually decide when they create the board, how many people are going to be on it.
But that's something that could be changed at town meeting, right? I think that's how it works.
I don't know enough about that to answer you tonight.
The argument
Yeah.
would be that you're trying to avoid having issues where there is not an adequate quorum. Trying
Well,
to
you'd
avoid
still
having-
only have 7 as your quorum, so you need 4.
Right.
And then if you have anything less than 7, you get the alternate to kick in if the 7th person. If you have 7 already here, then they won't serve, they'll just watch.
So we actually haven't had that as a frequent problem, have we?
We haven't had a full board. This is the first time in a while. That's not in 2012.
We don't usually- we
The first
don't-
5 years we didn't have a full board.
We don't usually have too many problems with getting a quorum so you can
Right.
vote on something.
Yeah, usually 4 is not a big deal. But
Why don't we see what it even says about
Yeah.
alternates?
Yeah,
I
give us that
don't know
next time.
enough about it. I've never worked for a commission that had alternates, so how do you make sure the alternate comes the right number of times to make sure they can vote as well? And
Right.
where are we gonna put somebody else?
Well, that's, we'll just do it.
We don't even have another seat for somebody.
We could have another meeting where we redo the whole season. Have us line in the hallway.
Not that the chair should be the reason for that, but I just don't know enough about having an alternate to answer your question,
See what
so
it says.
we'll find
Good.
some
All right,
information
that's fine.
for you.
Thank you.
MACC Fall Conference is October 19th. It's a Saturday, and the focus is on buffer zones, so applying this guidebook. It's all about culverts, native plants and pollinators, and urban forests. So, did you all get an email about it? You must.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so if anybody wants to go to that, you just need to let me know so we can register you.
Okay. Where is it
Or
located?
you're supposed to register yourself, but somehow I have to get approval to spend the money in our budget for you to go to it anyway.
Where is it? Where's the location?
Devon's.
Devon's. Just
Yep.
last weekend.
Devon's, where's that?
Devon's.
Devon's, Mass.
Yep. The old-
I want to say Route 2 area.
Yeah.
495 Route
Yeah,
2. Air, like Harvard.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's out there. It's a good hike.
It's about an hour.
Yeah.
Well, it's not free, we pay for it, but I'm happy to pay for you to go to something if you want to go and learn. A couple of events coming up. Tomorrow, Al Nylam is coming to volunteer at Edith Reed. So we're painting the inside and the outside of the lodge. On Saturday, Wheaton students are coming to finish whatever painting we haven't finished. Art Steniford donated the campfire pits, the fire rings, the metal fire rings. They came in 2 months early, so we can install those when we have some volunteers. So people are coming tomorrow, they're coming in on Saturday, and then we're having an open house on the 28th. I think we mentioned that before. Norton Kayak Company is also having a reservoir cleanup on the 14th if people are interested in that. That's it for the notices. The one thing we do need to do before you leave, since we closed the public hearing for Leonard Street, you got to do a little bit of deliberating. I know you don't have the letter from Horsley Witten, but I don't know what to write if you guys don't deliberate now. That's all. So I just need to know how.
We have no idea what they said, right?
I don't have any idea what they said.
Okay.
I was
No,
told Thursday afternoon, there's a conference call tomorrow, and I said, I'm not in tomorrow, you need to send me notes on the conference call so we know what's happening. I got no notes. And information that we got today, I don't have time to read the day of the meeting, so.
When you say you don't know what to write, you mean in the order of conditions?
In the order of conditions, are you approving, are you denying, do you have specific conditions you want? Do you want to pull out the plans, what do you want to do?
I hope you this.
That's everyone's vote.
Well, I understand, but,
That's the Google vote. There's 6 of us, and there would be 7 if we had my alternate. Just saying.
I'm for.
I mean, the big thing was whether or not they gave you enough documentation to show that they can't meet the stream crossing standards, and that's based on documentation, not we just don't want to. So that's your own individual decision, and everyone has to respect everybody else's
Are
decision.
you guys satisfied with the water, with Frank's discussion of why they shouldn't lower? I mean, I don't have an opinion either way, but if that's a big concern of theirs, and so that limits the amount of size of the cover that they can build based on the limitations of the water pipe.
I would
So-
agree with that one.
Okay, so that's a big limitation, limiting factor is that they can't make it too heavy, they can't make it too deep, you know, they have too much airspace and they'll freeze the water, so.
I mean, it happened in my house. We hit the waistline and
Right.
behold, it plugged up.
Right, so that was one of our concerns last week. They did the longitudinal study, they said, and they showed that 600 feet, 300 feet either direction, north and south, it was basically a 1 foot drop, it was less than a 1 foot drop, so that means as far as the stream flow, it's not gonna change much.
Okay, I mean, that's all documentation you'd been asking for all
Right.
along. So
And they
now you have that, and you
Right.
can make a
So,
decision, so I know what to write.
Well, what do we have to decide on? If we approve it the way they submitted it and Horsley Witten agreed with, according to them, then we can just go based on that, right?
I mean, I don't expect them to be lying, but sometimes what they hear is different
Yes,
than
that's
what
why I
Horsley Witten
stressed it
says,
to them
and
that
that's
if it says you
why I'm
say-
guessing most of you said you want to read it before you agree with it.
So,
Why couldn't Horsley Witten get this done? Their, whoever it was that
I mean, because they got their information last week.
and we owe them money. Because now we're at.
They're probably over budget
Yeah.
now, and so we probably need to revise the funding and get the funding before they provide the letter. I won't have that information until, tomorrow.
See, all these things are factors that
Absolutely.
affect the time.
Absolutely.
And so, they're mad as hornets. Kinda, I'm mad as hornets when they leave, but it's not like we're trying to hold them back deliberately.
You're looking for the minimum information that's required by the regs. And you're
You have every
doing
right
the
to
right
question
thing. You
everything.
have the right to say,
Exactly.
no, you're supposed to
every right
give
to
us that
question everything.
documentation, and we want to see that. And just because they keep saying no, or we gave it to you and it's not right, doesn't mean you go, oh, well, all right, never mind.
Well,
You're doing the right thing. You're doing your job the way you're supposed to be doing it. So you need to make that decision.
yeah, and I'm just go on the record saying,
Yep.
I feel completely comfortable with what has been presented, and that I'm in agreement with the plan, and I think we will.
Any comments? Discussion?
We can only do this at a public hearing.
Right. All right.
Well, are there, just to be the devil's advocate, are there any things that we should be worrying about?
I want verification that what he said, that Jose wouldn't agree with everything that they talked about, is actually the case. So I reserve judgment until they can confirm what he said. If it's consistent and he's telling the truth and exactly the way he said it, then I have no problem proving it as they discussed and agreed upon. If it's not the same thing, then we go back to square one, because then I can't trust what they're telling me.
But you did say you were comfortable with the stream grading.
I am comfortable with the gradient, I'm comfortable with the water discussion, I'm comfortable with the size of the culvert, I'm comfortable with the project if it's consistent with what our consultant says is okay. They're gonna say one thing, but
Yeah, it's just the size of the culvert is dependent on all of that background information that you had requested.
right.
That's all.
So can we vote to approve as they discussed, assuming it's consistent with
I would be willing
what they told us?
to,
And then when it's verified, we'll get the notes and we'll see Wynn's comments, which hopefully should happen in a couple of days, we can
I would
confirm
be
that,
willing
right?
to move that in that manner.
Does anyone else have
So
a?
you're deliberating. You don't actually have to vote tonight.
Right.
Right, so you're
But
having
you're
that
asking-
discussion, yeah.
You're asking for a sense
What
of
we'll
whether,
approve.
what the commission is comfortable with.
Right.
Right, I mean,
So I don't know if that means we have to.
I know my conditions are so fantastic, you think I whip them right out, but it actually takes a lot of of concentration to write them correctly. So I just need to be steered in the right direction, and then, when we forward the letter from Horsley Witten and the notes from the conference call, that it'll be forwarded to you. You'll just have to make your own individual notes to bring up at the meeting on the 23rd with any changes to the proposed conditions, and we have to hash it all out that night. That's all. Whatever changes you think need to be made to the draft.
We can add conditions, remove conditions at the meeting though, right? Once we
Correct.
drafted them, we can
Yep.
make whatever changes
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to be
yep.
before we sign them?
Yep.
Okay, all right, so,
Yeah, you just have to really
Alright,
pay a lot
so-
of attention to that set of conditions and the letter and make sure that
right.
everything is in there that you think is necessary.
This is the time to speak, guys, so any conflicting opinions, any discussion you want entered, anything you want to discuss has to be done now. We can't wait 2 weeks to do it then, so.
But, I mean, you could still do it then, but
But if we're
I
writing
just
conditions as
need
an
to-
approval and someone
Yeah.
doesn't want to approve it, and then that's going to change everything. So now is the time to air it out. I mean, a lot of it depends on information we don't have. So if that information is consistent, then we should operate based on that. If it's not, then we all have to step back and reevaluate. But I mean, that's my understanding of how this is gonna go forward. Do you guys all agree, or?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the project and everything. The only thing is, like, we haven't seen their comments or the
Right.
review of the newly
You were
submitted
just told that they
information.
were, agreed with everything that they
But
said.
now that we have an explanation about why the, from
Right, that,
Frank and everything.
exactly.
Makes me a lot more comfortable with
Okay.
approving it.
Yeah, that could have been done months ago, but,
Okay. Do you need anything else for that, or?
I don't. Just a reminder that our next meeting is when town council's coming in to have that discussion about open meeting law.
Oh, the lesson?
Correct.
Is this the one that was, that we?
We were gonna
agreed
have it
upon?
a few months ago, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep. Okay. And that's
and
gonna take half an hour?
Originally, they said like 15 minutes to a half an hour, and then when she emailed, it made it sound like it was an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
So I'm
They have a video?
gonna aim for,
Yeah, can't they post something online?
well, every 2 years, you guys take that open meeting law quiz. Me too, we all take it, and we submit our little certificates.
It's been a long meeting.
So, I mean, I can see if she can aim for 45 minutes, and then we'll just schedule the hearings.
Yeah.
We'll start scheduling them at 7:30. So it'll be a little bit longer because you're gonna have,
That's fine.
we do have one Eagle Scout who wants to come in, and I thought, well, let's just put him at 6:30, then do the open meeting
Sure.
law, then
Yeah,
do the
that's fine.
wetland,
Fine with that.
just to schedule
Okay.
a little easier.
Why are these 2 meetings in October tentative?
We were waiting for the notice of town meeting.
Oh, we didn't know exactly what day it would be?
I wasn't
Oh,
sure
I see.
exactly what
Okay.
date it was. So yes, we're
10/14 is Columbus Day, right? That's why we're not doing this.
correct. So October, we have a holiday and town meeting, but
Right.
it seems like there might be an extra week in there. So we
Okay.
can do the 7th and the 28th, it's just off meeting nights. And the same for November, we're off meeting nights with 2 holidays, right? Veterans Day and
basically.
Thanksgiving. But we can shift a little and then still have 2 meetings, hopefully to keep
Yeah,
moving
we don't
things
want
along
to do it
here.
Last year, we had one
Okay.
meeting, 4 months ago.
All right. Anything from anybody else?
Anything else? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to adjourn, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Thank you.